Welcome to the Vigorous Q&A. I'm Coach Steve, here to answer all your bodybuilding related questions. Today's question is from Grey Wolf. Good day, sir. Good day, right back at you, Grey Wolf. I know you don't advocate HCG on cycle, but what are your thoughts on short bursts of pregneal, which is pharmaceutical HCG, after a year and a half and counting of being shut down? All right, so I guess I'm assuming you're shut down because you're on cycle, yeah? Will this make it easier to bounce back once ready to come off, or is it too little, too late? Oh yeah, so he's on cycle. He's taking right now 6 months up to 600 milligrams of testosterone, followed by DECA, 10 months at 600 milligrams per week. So that's, okay, and then followed by DECA only 250 milligrams during the quarantine. So he went from 600 milligrams of test for 6 months to 600 milligrams of DECA for 10 months. And now cruising on DECA only. Okay, so first things first, I want you to check your estrogen and your HCG levels, because DECA is not going to convert to estrogen that much. And when I did my DECA only cycle, my estrogen was basically, 12. And it's not enough for normal sense of well-being. And my HCG is pretty low as well, because estrogen increases SHBG, and you don't want that too low, you don't want that too high, because that ruins sex drive, whatever direction it goes. Of course, check your prolactin levels, because nandrolone can also increase prolactin levels. All right, with that out of the way, yes, I think HCG every year is good to see where your natural hormone levels are at, and see if you can still recover. Now, I'm doing plastic and cruising. I don't expect to come off until my wife is ready to have a baby, and then I'm going to go through the whole process of PCT, waiting 6 months or 3 months at least for semen to be produced without any pharmaceutical in my system. So what I do every year, and you might be able to do the same, is I do a short 2-week HCG blast, whereas I was going to start a PCT. Now, HCG is synthetic LH, so it mimics the effects of LH, but it doesn't mimic the effects of FSH. For that, you would need a triptorelin, or an HMG, or an Novodex and Clomid. But I'm only doing HCG because it's easily available. So, you go off all hormones, because you don't want a negative feedback loop on your HPTA, so you go off all hormones. Now, the problem is you're running DECA. And DECA will shut you down for a long time. Nandrolone is detectable, or DECA-Durabolin is detectable for 18 months. And during this time, the nandrolone is already metabolized, maybe after a month, but the metabolites are still present for over a year. And those metabolites might be able to still reduce HPTA. And this is the problem with nandrolone, is that a lot of PCTs performed after a nandrolone cycle, whether that's nandrolone only or test base and then a couple goodies and nandrolone on top, they don't recover well. And then you're looking at hormone replacement for life. But that hormone replacement is not going to be nandrolone, because as long as you keep taking nandrolone, your PCT is not going to be successful. And your response to HCG, Clomid, and Novodex, or triptorelin, or HMG is not going to be 100%. Because the metabolites and the nandrolone are so long in your system that they're just, you're sending one signal to the LH receptor, hey, start producing testosterone. And then the metabolites are going into the androgen receptor and the sexual binding globulin receptor complex. And they say, no, we got enough. Bro, you don't need to produce tests. So which signal is stronger, do you think? Well, the fact that nobody's recovering after a nandrolone cycle kind of sums it up. So if you want to do an HCG blast, just to see where your testosterone production is at, do testosterone only for a year. Let all the nandrolone clear out of your system. You cruise on testosterone. You can even do a testosterone primo cycle or a testosterone only cycle. Just use testosterone. Yeah. When you're ready for your HCG procedure to see where your natural testosterone levels are at, you stop testosterone and you let all the hormone levels decline. It should take about 4 weeks. And then you have nothing in your system to potentially downregulate HPTA. Now HCG is going to be successful. Now it's going to potentiate the most amount that it can in restarting HPTA and testosterone production. You have nothing in your system to make that less effective. So, testosterone for a while, you stop that. After 3 or 4 weeks, you feel lethargic, loss of sex drive, low libido, loss of motivation. You don't feel like a man. Okay, now you can start HCG. Now you will feel a difference. Now within 2 or 3 injections, you're like, I'm back. You know? It's like to be continued. So, after 2 weeks of HCG, maybe 500, maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000 units of HCG every other day, you know, depending how long your cycle was. This cycle was pretty long. So you might need at least 1,000 units of HCG every other day. And then after those 2 weeks, you check your hormone levels to see where you're at. Your LH is going to be low because HCG is synthetic LH. Yeah, so it's, you know, you check your LH levels. Oh, they're so low. Yeah, because you've been taking HCG to replace it. Your FSH might have come up. You know, maybe not, maybe yes. Depends on the individual. Your estrogen should be in range. Your HCG should be middle of the range again. Your testosterone, hopefully, is to the middle of the top of the range. Because your total testosterone, you know, you've let all the hormones clear your system. What testosterone you see in your blood work is the testosterone you produced by yourself. Your total testosterone is all through your own testicles. Yeah, because you've been stimulating that with HCG. So if your total testosterone is 600, 1,000 nanograms per deciliter, good. You've got an insurance policy that HCG is going to work whenever you're ready to come off cycle. If your testosterone is 100 nanograms per deciliter, or 300, or 400, HCG is probably not going to bring you back. You might want to bring that down again and use triptorelin. Maybe the HCG was not potent enough, but if it's pregnant, I'm going to assume that it's potent enough to bring it back. Yeah, bring your testosterone levels back. You might have to use triptorelin, which produces LH and FSH directly. Yeah, so you let the HCG clear, you wait a week, let everything taper down again. Triptorelin, 50 micrograms, spaced 5 days apart. Then you check your hormone levels again. Hopefully it improved. If it didn't improve, you're on hormone replacement for life. And you can decide if that's testosterone, nandrolone, primo, boldenone, whatever hormone you prefer to use for your hormone replacement. I mean, it's technically not hormone replacement if you're taking nandrolone because you're not producing nandrolone or not that much naturally. So it's basically replacing eggs with whey protein. That's a different story, though. Yeah, I'm going to replace my eggs with whey protein and call it a meal replacement. No, that doesn't work like that. Anyway, if you feel good on nandrolone only, or primo only, or boldenone only, or a combination of 100 test, 100 deca, 100 primo, I mean, we all have our preferences, right? You'll have to cruise on that. And that's your hormone replacement because you're not able to recover with HCG or triptorelin. So you're a candidate for hormone replacement. Hopefully you can get a script in the meantime, you know, make everything squeaky clean and legal for your country and your health insurance. And that's pretty much it. You know, if you're running HCG and your hormones come back within the reference range, you know, hopefully at the top, the testosterone at the top and HCG and estrogen somewhere in the middle, you're good. Yeah, that's your insurance policy that you know it's going to work. And then you can go back on cycle. But, you know, the problem with nandrolone is that it might downregulate you for a very, very long time. So I don't think that's a suitable approach. But hey, everybody's different. If it works for you, it works for you. My testosterone levels were 750 or 760 nanograms per deciliter after the last photo shoot. I didn't inject anything for 3.5 weeks, and then I did 2.5 weeks of HCG at 2,000 units every other day. It's quite a high dose, but then again, you know, my cycle was out there. So, you know, and I've been blasting and cruising for quite a while. So every year I do my HCG blast to see where my testosterone levels were at. And mine were 760 nanograms per deciliter. Estrogen was about 27, 30, somewhere in the middle. And HCG also somewhere in the middle. So that's, you know, that's just the insurance policy that I know that HCG is going to work and my PCT should be successful if everything is in place. And if I ever see those levels decline, then I know that I don't have to bother anymore or that I should hurry up and get my wife pregnant. So that pretty much sums it up, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.